recital at my daughter's wedding. My wife announced he's not her real father. But I dropped a bombshell that left everyone stunned. It was late, and we had just finished a small
the cozy
family
dining
dinner.
room. Well,
family minus my daughter, who was busy with wedding preparations. As I sipped my wine, I noticed Claire's phone buzzing across the table. She reached for it quickly, her face suddenly tense, her eyes darting to Mike. "Is everything all right?" I asked, trying to keep the concern from my voice. But I could see in her eyes there was something wrong. Something she wasn't telling me. "Yeah, just work," Claire replied quickly. But the way she turned her phone face down on
made
a
me
table uneasy. I tried to shake it off. We were divorced. What did I care if her phone buzzed? But as I sat there pretending to enjoy the evening, my mind wandered. Her strange behavior, her sudden emotional distance. There was something more to it, and I couldn't let it go. Days passed, but the unease stayed with me. Something didn't feel right. It wasn't until I accidentally found the message, an innocent-looking text that wasn't so innocent, that everything began to unravel. The message was simple: "I miss you. I'll be with you tonight. Don't forget the ring." It wasn't a text from her husband, Mike. It was from someone else. Someone who had become a part of her life. Not just any someone, a man I didn't recognize, but a man whose name I would come to know all too well. My heart sank. 1,000 questions raced through my mind. What had I missed all these years? How had she kept this hidden from me? From Emily. The weight of the truth settled in my chest like a stone. The confrontation didn't come easily. But when I finally faced Claire, there was no hiding the truth. "You think I don't know?" I asked, my voice shaking with a mix of disbelief and anger. "You think I didn't see the signs?" Claire, her face flushed with guilt, tried to laugh it off. "You're overreacting." "It's nothing." "Nothing." I scoffed, stepping closer, the distance between us shrinking. As my heart pounded in my chest. "Who is he, Claire? Who are you lying to now?" She hesitated, eyes shifting nervously, before she finally gave me a name I hadn't heard before. But it wasn't just the name that hit me. It was the realization of the betrayal. The truth that the woman I had once the mother loved of my child had been sleeping with another man behind my back, while maintaining the facade of a loving family. The confrontation at home was nothing short of explosive. I had finally reached the breaking point. My emotions, pent up for so long, erupted with a force I couldn't control. The anger, the humiliation, it all came pouring out in a tidal wave of fury. "Why?" I screamed, shaking Claire by the shoulders. "Why him? Why this way? What happened to us?" She recoiled, trying to push me away, but I wouldn't let her. The room was suffocating. Mike, her husband, stood frozen in the doorway, his face pale with shock. He had known, but he hadn't known how deep the deception ran. He had never suspected that I was the fool left behind, waiting for a love that wasn't there. "Let me go," Claire shouted, her voice cracking. But I wasn't done. I couldn't be. I needed to know the truth. All of it. That's when the lover appeared. Jake, her secret lover. His eyes were cold, calculating, a man who had no remorse. He didn't care that he had destroyed a family. He had gotten what he wanted. And now he stood there smugly, as if he were entitled to everything. I didn't hesitate. In the heat of the moment, I grabbed the nearest object, a heavy vase, and slammed it onto the ground. The sound of breaking glass filled the room, but it wasn't enough. The fury in my chest still burned. But they were no longer the ones who controlled the situation. I was taking it back. Slowly, methodically, I began to put my plan into motion. Revenge would come, no one would escape. As the days passed, I plotted every conversation, every encounter, every quiet moment. I watched, I listened, and I prepared. I studied their weaknesses, their fears, their secrets. For Mike, it was easy. He had always been the stable one, the dependable one. But stability is built on secrets, and I knew where to dig. With just one phone call, I exposed his illicit gambling problem to his boss. Within days, he was fired, his reputation in shambles. He had no idea it was me who pulled the strings. Claire, on the other hand, was a different animal. She had always been the charming one, the woman who could smile her way out of anything. But that smile couldn't save her. Now, I set the wheels in motion to ruin her life. I made sure her affair with Jake was in front of all the right people, her family, her friends, and worst of all, Emily. As for Jake, his downfall was swift and unforgiving. I made sure he lost every job, his reputation, his friends. He thought he could just walk away from the wreckage. But he had underestimated me. The day of Emily's wedding arrived, and it should have been a day of joy. But I wasn't there for the smiles and laughter. I was there for something else, a final reckoning. The moment Claire stood up during the reception, her voice trembling with emotion, I knew the moment had come. She glanced at me nervously, but I had no intention of letting her control the narrative any longer. With a calm that contrasted the storm inside me, I stood up. "Claire, before you continue," I said, my voice cutting through the murmur of the crowd, "I have something to say." The room fell silent as I dropped the bombshell, exposing the truth about her affair, her lies, and the destruction she had caused. But I wasn't done. I had one final piece of the puzzle to reveal. "By the way, Mike," I said, turning to him, "you're not Emily's real father either." The room was stunned into complete silence. Emily's face drained of color as the revelation hit her like a wave. She turned slowly to Claire, her voice breaking. "You lied to me my whole life." The aftermath was inevitable. Claire, Mike, and Jake, each of them was left broken. The weight of the lies and deceit had finally caught up with them. But as I looked back at what I had done, I couldn't deny the feeling of justice. Revenge had been served. But the cost, it had changed me. The anger, the betrayal, it had shaped me into something I wasn't sure I recognized anymore. Some betrayals break us. Others build us into something stronger. If you think justice was served like this video, subscribe for more stories of betrayal, revenge, and the consequences of lies.